Autobots, transform!
So I guess at this point I'm going to need some instructions. I probably won't, but just where the faces and everything go, which one goes where, so I don't have to actually like put it on and pull it back off. Get this little damn pack open. And normally I don't do instructions. I think this is a little bit different. There's no challenge to it. I just want to get it right. Okay, what do we have here? Snake Mountain's instructions, oddly enough. It shows you everything inside. We just want to know exactly which face goes where. It shows us you can kick in the wall. Tila's kicking in the door. It's supposed to be He-Man punching it. And it shows you can store weapons inside the wolf's head. How the trapdoor works. You just want to know which face. I want to know which face goes where. I'm going to start with the faces. Alright, so we're going to go for clay face first. What did I call this one? Yeah, this one's clay face. This one is the first one. I guess they don't snap. You can pull them off at any time. That's one. You know, this guy actually reminds me of that one little demon thing from one of the episodes. Little fat thing to set in the chair. This is number 2. But they have the little Scooby-Doo ghost skeleton thing. Third. And finally, the Star Trek face. And yeah, and I think you could just, anyone you want, they come right back off. They don't like click on and like permanently stay. So you can put them however you want them. However it works. And we got the faces. On this panel we have the computer. Goes like this and it goes right here. And the funny thing, there is a sculpted little, well, not sculpted, but a sticker. I've never seen anybody talk about in their reviews, like a prison thing, like Castle Grayskull, with like the eyeballs and the tentacles coming out. I don't think I've seen any review where people talked about that little thing right there. Okay, next up for the interior. This is an assembly, but most people put this little swamp thing in here. Guess that's fair enough. Yeah. Wolf's head. There's a little hole right here and a little post right here. Alright, I stopped rolling. I was trying to get this thing on here. The hole, and my hole looks like I don't know, like it's ripped or torn away, like it's not finished. It's not completely cut out. That's what I'm trying to say. I might have to cut it to get this on here, and because obviously it's removable. I wasn't trying to take it out, but trying to get this thing on here, I felt it give, and I took it out. All right, I got it. It was a chore getting this damn thing out. Man, so all right, what's next? What's next? The Breakaway Wall. Alright, that's that. For that, the jail cell door. You can come on out. Okay, I was kind of doing that wrong. We got the jail cell door. What else we got for the interior? We have the net. Now to get to that. And it's all wrapped up. I don't even know which way it goes. Definitely don't want to rip it or break it. Yeah, they were like a little too protective with this thing. Alright, here's the net. You can come closer. And it keeps coming off, like it's not like permanently linked. Alright, it's 2 slots under here meant for the net. That snapped loud. And here is the net. It's probably it for the interior, except for the interior items such as the table. It's a shame, like with the size, you can't like get him. And I guess if you move the wolf's head, and we went through a lot of trouble getting that on, so you can't get him sitting at the table next to the sitting on the throne next to the table. I'll just put it down here for right now. The ladder, and you put this anywhere you choose. It's just enough. Like you can't even like lift it out. It's just enough to get up there and go straight up. So that is the assembly for the interior. I'm gonna swing it around and continue. Okay, now for the outer assembly, and start with the bridge. And I think it just slides into position. And the bridge is what links the 2 halves together to keep it from closing if you put pressure on it. Next up is the topper, the mountain top. It has some major clips right here. Don't ever want to break these off because it's over. You'll have to glue it on top permanently. And there we go. Now this thing is huge. The gate, I think it goes in through the back. Nope, slides in from the front. Assembly on camera always sucks because you gotta kind of reach around and still keep it in view. But there is the gate. It opens in. If you try to push it out just as far out as it goes, it opens in. That's how I say that for the review. And last but not least, snake head. And it just goes in a little hole right here. You can see my finger. No, you can't see my finger. And here it is. It does not actually wrap all the way around. Put it in on an angle and turn it to lock it. And bam! Snake mounted. And this is where the music's supposed to play. Dun 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 dun. I don't want to get a copyright hit. Got enough of those. But here it is, man. Everybody talk about how steep the stairs are and you can't actually get a figure on it. We'll put that to the test in a few seconds. And I want to transition to, ooh, I almost jacked it, the poster. Everybody talk about getting this thing framed, and I probably will too. Probably had to get a custom frame for this damn thing. Here it is. Wow, it's very high gloss, almost like a laminate on it. And then it's the artwork from the front of the box. I mean, I guess you can throw away the box if you wanted to and still keep that beautiful artwork, but it's blown up to the extreme. I'm getting all this in. Man, I don't want to mess it up, but I'm definitely going to get this frame. It is so cool. And it's like some of my favorite characters. If this had been Trapjaw, I mean, I would have been blown away. I like Merman, but I'm more Trapjaw. They're my favorite guy. Stratos is my second favorite He-Man ally. And Tila either way. But you see the lava like boiling and steaming. It's very nice. And my little son just pointed out to me I didn't get the plastic off the chains. These are real metal chains, which is very cool. Shackles, chains, whatever, same thing. But he's standing by anxiously to get to play with this thing. I want to break the chain pulling off the plastic. Here it is. Alright, the little bottom pieces that actually hold the figure are plastic, and the rest of the chain, and they're done. I'm gonna zoom in later, but they got like a little rust on them. I don't think they need to do that. I think over time it's gonna get a little bit of rust, but that is so cool that that's in there. This thing looks great. Wow. So this is it for the unboxing portion. The unboxing. All right, now that I got Snake Mountain fully assembled, I'm gonna give it one more measurement, one more set of measurements. It's roughly 3 feet and 6 inches across. And the height of this thing, if I can accurately measure that, I would say it's 3 feet by 3.5 inches tall. So at the highest point. So it's a pretty big playset. And it's called a playset. But in this review, I want to kind of argue that. Is it a playset or a diorama? You know, because there is a difference. It's a slight difference, but there is a difference. And we're going to see if it's actually playable. And before we do that, I'm going to pan across the thing and let you guys take a really good look at it. Okay, so that is a close-up look at Snake Mountain's playset / diorama. Now I'm going to put some figures on it, and we're going to take a better look at it and put to test the playability of the playset from the front. Alright everybody, I got the playset full of figures, and we're going to take a look. Then we're going to question or put to the test the functionality of this thing. I had a few questions and a few issues. I saw some of the reviews, and a lot of people said they had trouble getting figures on this bridge. I put Ram Man on there, and of course he's facing forward, but the design or the thought is to turn sideways and walk. But check that out in just a minute. Just want you guys to take a look at some figures actually up on here. Then I'm going to see exactly how this thing actually functions. And I even brought out the Wind Raider for some size references a little bit later. Okay everybody, I showed you a quick look with all the figures on it. So I'm going to come a little bit closer and put to test the playability of this playset. We're going to take a look at the Shackles first. I have, what's her name, Hawk Shackle here, and the Shackles, the end piece is plastic, and down she goes. This piece is plastic, and this is a real metal chain, and they open and close and lock very securely. As you see, I just dropped her, and she's still holding on. So let's get her back shackled. So now I want to come to the staircase, and I put Battle Cat on the staircase. We're gonna move Battle Cat, and we're gonna get Men at Arms. All right, this is the start of the staircase. Now, when he gets this close, now he's too big to go up this staircase. So I don't know if this is because the playset shrunk several times in the different production runs, but he kind of has to get down here and crawl to come through here. So that's very disappointing to start. Now coming to the bridge. Saw a lot of reviews where the bridge right here, people say they really couldn't get a figure on it. I went with my biggest guy, which is Ram Man, and we're trying to turn him to the side, and you can get him to the side. He's in the boiling lava with that arm, but you know, this is like scale, and the lava should be further back. But you can turn this big guy to the side. As far as you can't really get, I don't know if you get 2 figures on here sideways like they're fighting on the bridge, but I guess you can duck Men at Arms head behind the teeth and kind of get them like. So I'm not so much as disappointed with this portion as I am with this portion. Or I guess you can start somebody here. And yeah, it's kind of hard getting them to stand up here too. So we can get a hero here. Yeah. For the life of me, I do not know why they didn't make purpose out of these little figure stands or holes in their feet. This thing should have been littered with ports or pegs to put the figures in. And it would have made it a lot more functional. But I got to kind of lay Man-at-Arms here, like he's starting the bridge, and squeeze a figure in here. So you can make it work, but the playability, and I know it's for adult collectors, but it is a playset. So you can kind of make that work. So that's a hit and miss. And now the little ledge right here. All right, you could fit 2 guys comfortably on this ledge like they're doing battle, and that's fine. That's great. Or you can have someone, or you can have Skeletor's evil warrior like he's on the lookout, and you can just put 1 guy on there however you want to do it, and that's fine. But the staircase, and this is a continuation of the staircase and the bridge, this is kind of the most disappointing part, because it has the length to put like 4 or 5 guys on it, but because it is too steep and it's not actually stairs, I struggled to get He-Man, and it's the weak ankle version, struggled to get him on there, and it would be no problem if they actually utilize the ports in their feet and put pegs all over this set. And man, they should have got with the people who make Siege. They got ports and pegs everywhere. But he won't. If you try to get him up here, and he's dead. And coming to Triclops up here, I had to really get his feet to get it on this one good ledge. And if he's not right, he's going to come down. And he's kind of, his calves are on the back of this, kind of helping him stand up. So, or he's coming down. It's like 1, 2 good stairs, really. And this one is kind of slippery and slopey. You can get them right there, and then 1 more top stair, but you got to remove the snake head. You have to take off the snake head to get this guy on the final stair, which is kind of disappointing. So the staircase is my most, I'm most disappointed in the staircase. They could have did that better. All they had to do is make pegs on the staircase to stick a guy in there, and we could have get a whole battle scene with He-Man sort of fighting his way up to the top to Skeletor. Alright, I want to point out, as far as playability, this little space right here, excellent, ideal little tunnel from the front to the inside. You know, you can sneak in or make your way through the caverns of Snake Mountain. But when you take a figure, I mean, he busting his head. And a lot of people like to say, well, most playsets you kind of go with the figure like this, but I mean, when they just missed making it big enough, that's actually disappointing. And you can't, on the box art, they have Merman like he's hunched over coming through the little tunnel. And I get that. You can kind of say that, but I think they just missed out on making this big enough. And you still, as it goes deeper, the cavern narrows. So you got to just crawl through the cavern. So in a way, it's sort of a waste of space. It looks cool, but I guess if you just put a guy just right here like this, and that's what you got. Taking a closer look at this sculpted face, this very reminiscent of the vintage playset. In fact, this is almost a direct translation. He has some awesome orange painted eyes with some darker purple outside of his eyes. The mouth actually articulates like on the vintage playset, which is pretty cool. And if you wanted to, you can actually put a figure in there, and poor Hawk is having a bad day at Snake Mountain, and act like your figure is trapped in there, which is pretty cool. Okay, so far the Snake Mountain has passed for me about 90% of the playset test. So it's more of a playset than a diorama. You can actually play with the front of it. But as far as posing your figures on it, once you get all these guys in place, and it took me a second to get all these guys in place, but if you were to bump it or hit it at all, and that's what you got. And I got heads and parts rolling, and that's what's going to happen, because they didn't take advantage of all these figures, from the Super 7 version of these figures to the Mattel version of these figures. They all have ports in the bottom of their feet where they could have put pegs all over this, where these guys could stick and stay. and you not had this happen in your display or whatever. Like I got children, and I got children running by. Here's one right here, and if he runs by and hangs or bumps into this, it's going to be a problem. Like this, figures in the floor. And I'm fortunate doing that demonstration that I didn't break anything. I hope I didn't break anything. I heard, you probably heard it too, things rolling in the floor. So there we go. Stop. All right, we're going to take a look at the reverse side of Snake Mountain, the fully assembled, and we have the pieces in place. The instructions does not specify where to put certain pieces, so I put them in as best as I can where I've seen other people put them, and just where I think it goes. Right here you have some awesome molded in detailing. You have a face right there, another face, some eyes and a nose and a mouth. The reverse of the outside tunnel with some excellent stairs. And it's too bad the figures can't use the stairs. We're going to come to that. Space right here to have some play value. And an awesome ledge right here. But it appears to be too small for any figure. You have the net, trapdoor up top, reverse of the gate, computer, bone throne, and the cell with a figure in there. It's a figure already in it, because I was testing it out because it looks very suspect, and an extra space right back there. So let's see if we can actually play with this playset. Alright, I'm going to start at the top with this trap door. It is secured. You can see it by a piece of tape. I'm going to get that piece of tape off so we can get it to function. Alright, I got He-Man on a trap door all ready to go. The net underneath. And I question the functionality of this thing. There's a little tiny lever where you gotta like force your hand in to spring the trap. And then like this is what, like the door falls onto the net. Maybe I don't have something right, but yeah, that looks like crap so far. Alright, trap door take like 5 or 6. Show you what we got. Alright, I actually got it that time. I had to play around and align the net because it kind of clogs up the door when you drop it in, and well, I guess we got it. Okay, so we played with the trapdoor. I got it working, I guess good enough. Let's take a look at the rest of the inside of Snake Mountain. I put some figures on it to get us started, and what we're going to do is see what can we actually do and what is the spacing good for. And I had a little trouble figuring out a lot of it because there's not a lot you can really do. Like we'll start with, I guess, the command section. And a lot of people have it where they have the throne up top sitting right here with Skeletor in it. And that's all you can do. He can't have a meeting like this with his minions or warriors unless you drop it down to like whatever space you have available. Because this is now out of the playset. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to move some of these guys out of the way and show you like some of the limited ability to play with this thing. I move the table. Now he has this space here. And you ask yourself, what is this space for? Can you get the throne in there? No, you cannot get the throne in here. So most people put it up here, and that's fine. So he's like up here in this room pretty much alone. But I guess you can take a figure, and Skeletor can have meetings on like a one-on-one basis up here, I guess. And they're kind of like squirrels in there. It's not a lot of room. As big as this thing is, like the reverse space, I don't think was utilized very well. And speaking of not utilized very well, let's go to the jail cell. And earlier I had Hawk in here. It's because she's slim figure with no accessories, no attachment to her other than her hair behind her. And this is it. You got like, this is the latch that closes the door. And this little breakaway part is right there. So it's just enough room for her to get in here and close the door. And like the door is kind of pushing on her. She's right behind the door. So let's take like Ram Man ain't going in here. And I do know it's kind of unfair because he's like a super scaled figure. But I mean, just to show you, like, now like he ain't, like, you not closing the door at all on Ram Man. Like, that's it. Nothing. So Triclops is a male figure with not a lot going on. Standard size buck without the bulk. Buck. All right, get him in here. And you got to mush him with the door, and it's not it's not closing all the way. And he's just a standard guy. Nothing special going on. So let's see if we can move him all the way to this corner. And we can sort of kind of get it all the way to the corner. And the door is pretty much shut. It's ajar just a little bit. But you can do that. And that's Triclops. This is like your basic guy. This is the like the breakaway part. Like if someone's breaking in from the outside. But who's ever in here is dead. Once this wall comes down, there is no room. The ideal behind it is great, but the functionality of it, not so much. And talk about more how the space doesn't work. Like this space right here, like what is this space for? You can kind of fit the table in there, but it's hanging off. Like does the table, and then like this would only be like storage. I guess you can store it there when you close it because you can't put guys in there. Maybe again, let's get this slim guy. You might be able to squeeze Triclops in there. And I mean, you really squeezing it. So the spaces that you have are almost non-functional. Speaking of spaces, now let's come on the ladder. Since we're passing the ladder actually functions. You can get a guy on the ladder in a posing position. I use this awkward guy. He's only holding on with one arm. And just to prove that it works, put it to the test. Coming to this little tiny sliver of swamp or whatever this thing is. Like this is the most space that we have. And that's pretty awesome. It's huge. Again, like I guess maybe we can get skeletal. Let's see if the bone throne goes in here. If we can make this a room, maybe kind of, I don't know, that sort of kind of functions well. But again, you probably could put one or two of his minions around the table. I don't know, I guess that works a little bit. But this is the most space that you have, and it's sort of nothing to do. Well, and if you put this in that space, it's like, where does this go now? Like, you really can't get this in here. Like most of the stuff that you have, a lot of cool stuff is just going to be left hanging out. And we've got the tunnel. I got Men-at-Arms coming through, and he's barely coming through. And you see that? But they have some stairs, so you got to crawl in and like crawl down the stairs. And it, like I say, it makes you wonder how much this suffered when they shrank it. Like I know they shrank it a couple times. So I don't know, from the original scope to how it was supposed to work, it was always going to be just this tight. I'm pretty sure it would have been tight, but it's the head clearance thing that we need. Like in the Castle Grayskull, they went out of their way, or not out of their way, but they certainly made sure you can get through the drawbridge standing up without having to do that sideways thing with your figure, like going in sideways. But look, Snake Mountain, you got to come in sideways. Then there's a ledge right here, and how functional that is, I don't know, but you can get a figure up here all by himself jumping down on some unsuspecting that Triclops was getting. But He-Man can leap down on an unsuspecting Triclops or vice versa if they're stinging in. And I got Stratos hanging around up here, and just pretend like he's flying, everybody. He's supposed to be flying. Well, you got these faces up here, and behind the faces, if you take off the faces, oh, another cool thing, it's like this drip from, like, I guess it was melting from the lava, and then it solidified. That's very cool effect right there. Something they probably didn't have to put in to sort of make the reverse hollowed out mountain look a little bit better. But you got almost like a ledge right here where it would have been sweet if they could have had somebody come through the trap door and like they're sliding down and laying down there. I think that would have been cool. They probably should have put the trap door in this corner. That would have been way better. I don't know how well this would actually work, but I think it would have been better. And if you all right, I had a thought, and I just want to get that out there. This area, why it looks great, like the sculpt of it, but it's kind of useless because the space is so small, and then the tunnel inside is molded. It's not just limited. If you come up here, this top, it actually pops up, and you can see they actually molded the tunnel. They could have not molded like a ceiling for the tunnel, and you could have been able to remove this space and done more with it. Or even better, this area could have been a jail cell. Like this could have been cut out And you could have had this in here, and you could have got a figure inside a lot better, like, because it definitely has the height and it has the room. You could have put 4 or 5 figures in here if they had made this the jail. Just remove this and put the people in there, and it would have functioned better with the breakaway wall on the reverse side. So okay, everybody, stay with me on this. They molded the ceiling. They could have had this as wide as they wanted once you got past this ledge to actually have people stand inside the jail cell. And you could have put the breakaway wall, maybe a 4-piece wall to cover up this space, and it would have been a lot better when He-Man comes through and knocks down the wall and reveal figures inside in the jail cell. So I think they did not make good use of the space they had available. So that kind of takes away from the playset with the people just squoze all in it, no matter where you put them. They got to squeeze in unless you just got them sitting in front of the playset. Okay, you can get at least 2 figures on this ledge. Probably, if you worked harder, you can get 3. I got He-Man and Skeletor in the brawl for it all, high atop Snake Mountain. All right, I want to go over this little sludge pit thing with the tentacles coming out. I just want to give you guys a close look at it. He has painted in, this little creature has painted in teeth with some type of green slime around his mouth. No painted in tongue. That's not slime, that's like his underbelly, continuation of his underbelly. He has a nice wash over him. The little nails on the feet are painted. Looks very good. Both of the creatures are done equally impressively. You can see like the little scales on these things, and then you can see like the tentacles. These things look awesome. Very awesome. And if you chose to, you can display some figures trapped in here. As you can see, the tentacles are strong enough to hold and just flexible enough to hold 2 full figures. He-Man, help! I'm coming. All right, now I want to spotlight the Bone Throne and just take a look at the entire thing. Like, it has like some animal fur sculpted in this plastic as the seat itself, and then it has like a skeleton of some bug or spider creature right here with some type of grin. That looks pretty cool. It's on both sides of the throne. I don't think I ever noticed that in the animation if it is there. Looks like my son said swords. Could be some teeth to some creature. With 2 teeth. Actually has the hip area from whatever creature this is. The rib cage, of course. And the demon head. Looks like it has some clear translucent plastic eyes in the skull. The horns. Looks pretty cool. And I brought it out to get Skeletor's seated. Started with the Filmation. I already had this guy here. And you got to kind of get the guy in a super lounging position because his head wants to hit up against this piece right here. So you got to kind of get him down in there. Kind of, he like sitting there kind of raunchy, like, yeah, evil land, yeah, you know what's up, yeah. So, and he's kind of super lounging in the chair to get him in there. And from Filmation to Classics, which this guy was made for Classics, even though the chair is Filmation. This guy's a lot stiffer. His plastic is a lot harder. Get this Skeletor in there, but his head is smaller, so he kind of cock his legs open. And he sits right in there. Sits a little bit better, but he's even more relaxed. Like sitting in there like, yeah, somebody go get Evil Lynn. I got some work for her to do, yeah. So, but that is Skeletor on the throne. It's pretty cool. He looks awesome laid in there deep like Scarface. Okay, I'm sure there are more than a few people want to know how this works with Master of the Universe Origin figures, even though why you would use Master of the Universe Origin figures on this $600 playset. I don't know. But anyway, here's Beastman next to Skeletor. Skeletor on the Bone Throne. He sits there just fine. And they should sit in there because they're smaller scale figures. Maybe people want to know how well can you bend the figure and get them in the chair, but that's Skeletor in the chair. Now, how well do these figures fit in the gel? Let's check that out. All right, let's try to get He-Man in his gel, and he's kind of thick across the chest. And let's see what we can, and it's not really closing. That's He-Man in there. He's too thick across the chest. If I push him all the way in the corner, I can't close it on He-Man Origin. So As far as this little tunnel goes, it actually works better with the 5.5 scale figures. You can almost go all the way through it standing up. Almost, but not quite. The shackles work perfectly well on He-Man from the Origins line, so no problem there. I didn't think it would be a problem there. The arms are almost the same size. Okay, the last feature we got, I believe, is the Wolf's Head Tower that used to be a microphone that doesn't have electronics in it. Get this thing sitting down. And now it is storage space, which I think is just a cop-out. Open it up and they say you can store weapons in it. And then the thing has a hole in it for the stuff to fall through. But we're going to take the Havoc Staff and look at this. Like, nope. Like the instructions show you can store weapons in it, but Havoc Staff's too big. Let me see if we can get a shield, an axe, some swords, and look, it's falling through the bottom. I mean, this is a cop-out ass accessory right here now because it's functionless. The only thing it does is homage the vintage set. Like, I mean, do you even want to put your hell? I might as well put the weapons in the net and be done with it because like it just doesn't work. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. Like anywhere on the playset is like storage space. Look, storage space, everybody. Look, oh yeah, oh, storage space. Like you can just put stuff anywhere. Like I think this is nothing special. This is just a cop out. They just tried to make it seem like this still had a function when I kind of think it doesn't. You know, it's. And it does have like a little bit of a dry brushing over it. Now that I look closely at it, before I didn't think it did, but it does. It's very subtle. Okay, now I want to try to get it closed up. And from what I understand already, it won't close unless you modify it. Like everything you put in place, like the wolf's head has to come out in like one of these spaces. So, and I'm trying to close it with the items it came with actually stored in it. So I got the table in here. I got the throne, with skeleton on the throne. See if it's going to close. The faces are attached and the little swamp creature thing, whatever that thing is. I'm going to try to close it now. Totally forgot. I got to go around and take the bridge off because the bridge holds it in place. Okay, got the bridge, aka the lock. And let's see what happens. Am I pinching tablecloth? Okay, now the wolf head is hitting up against this face right here. Gotta turn it around, but I'm gonna take this face off, and I still don't think it's gonna close. And the wolf head is banging like right here. So that's not working at all. I was already aware of this. I just wanted to show anybody who may not seen any of the other videos or so you got to take this out. And let's continue to try to close it. Okay, now it's hitting this face. So I think you could take this face out and you might be able to leave this one in. Let's check it out. And let's see if Skeletor can stay on that throne. Yeah, I think this is it. Sorry about the camera work. But this is it. And it doesn't have a lock or a latch. And it's like, I would assume that they just freaking forgot. And I'm pretty sure they thought, well, you're not going to carry it around anyway. But you just might want to close it to display. One of the best things about this playset is the ability to display it closed on both sides. Like with Castle Grayskull, you really wouldn't want to display it from the back. And on this one, like it's like which side is the front and which side is the back. I guess with the gate closed, you can say this is the back. And I like to refer to it as the vintage side. And you can get figures on it and a display, a diorama, something going on. And you can save space displaying this thing closed. It works great on the vintage side, the filmation side. Snake Mountain is just as impressive from the front as it is from the back. This is what is known as the filmation side because of the snake wrapping all the way around like in the animation. I got a few animation figures on here, or filmation figures. So you can display it closed and open, and it's just as impressive. Okay, just to show off the sheer mass of this playset, I went and got all the biggest Masters of the Universe figures I can find and some more behemoths from the 80s. And just so it stands out, I put a little light behind the lava fall. I don't know, they should have did that for us. They should have had a light go in there or a place to put something. But that's my cell phone in there with a flashlight on. It makes it look amazing. Alright everybody, now for the moment you've all been waiting for. I know I have. Here's Mattel's Master of the Universe Classics Castle Grayskull with Point Dread next to Super 7's classic Snake Mountain. And it is massive. It's kind of unfair because I cannot unfold Grayskull completely. It doesn't open because of the piano hinge right here. It doesn't open fully. It wasn't never designed to open fully. But even if I just get the tallest spiral in just this half with Castle Grayskull, it is still bigger. And if we come to the top, the very top of Point Dread's radar dish is not as tall as Snake Mountain's highest peak. It is still taller. I know a lot of people don't consider Point Dread as part of Castle Grayskull. I guess I could take it off and we could take a look without it. Alright, now here we have it. Now it is a huge discrepancy without that piece. It actually kind of looks naked now. So I mean, man, as far as being impressive and the detailing and the things that come with it, I think Snake Mountain wins. I think Castle Grayskull might have it in playability, like with the elevator, the cannon, and the trapdoor is better with the throne. And the play space I think is better in Castle Grayskull. But overall, I think this is just a more impressive piece. Now, as far as I'm concerned, if I had to get rid of one, Snake Mountain going. Because Castle Grayskull is just that much more iconic to me in my mind. I never had the vintage Snake Mountain. It might be different if I had the vintage one as a kid. But if I had to keep one, I'm keeping Castle Grayskull. But if I had to tell you which one is actually more impressive, Snake Mountain, definitely. Definitely. Alright everybody, my final thoughts on this figure. It is very impressive. I love the deco, the way it's designed, the vines that look like veins, the eyes of this part right here, it looks like Gonzo from the Muppets. The chains are very impressive. The snakes winding around the mountain is just spectacular. I just love it. The only thing keeping this from being the greatest playset ever is the sound. If they had put the sound in this thing, it would be the greatest playset of all time, surpassing playsets like the Terrordome and the USS Flag. But it really would have been up there. I think this is more impressive than the vintage Eternia playset, which was just a couple pillars representing the Eternia, Grayskull, Snake Mountain. This is a more impressive toy than Castle Grayskull. Is it better? Is it more playable? I don't know. I don't know. If they had put pegs on it, where we could just put figures all over it without them falling down, I would definitely say yes. But Grayskull has that working elevator, the gun turret where you can put a guy out there manning the gun, and the trap door works better. You know, I probably could have got mine to work better, but just overall the way it works with you just turn the throne and you don't have to like get your finger under the lever like this one. So, but yeah, but this thing, I give it an 8 out of 10. It would be higher if the spaces were more functional. If we could have got more out of this, I mean, you can put something in there, you can make it work. But to me, it holds it back from being like a 9 or even a 10. If the spaces were a little bit bigger, I'd have gave it a 9, definitely. Even with the trap door kind of being suspect, I would have gave it a 9. But as it stands, 8. I'd be stretching to say 8.5, so I'm just going to say 8. But I really like it. It's well worth the wait. I see where my money went, and I'm happy I bought it. Very happy I bought it, and I'm see what it's going for now as I'm shooting this review. I'm like, woo! So if you're looking for it on secondhand market, I don't know if it's worth $1,000. I mean, if you got it, you got it. But I paid like $6 with shipping and all that. It was like right around $7. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. Any toy could always be cheaper, but I think this one's worth it. So with that said, I want to thank everybody for watching another episode of George Reviews. The reviews where every toy has a story, even this behemoth right here.
Autobots, transform!